Hey everyone, Snazzy Chapeau here, sharing my quick thoughts on the latest episode of My Little House Hunters Renovation is Magic, entitled Castle Sweet Castle. Before we can talk about that though, we need to talk about the library's destruction. As you likely know by now, lots of fans overreacted to the event, even going so far as to demand that the act be undone with online campaigns, because how dare DHX not make an episode specifically tailored to you and what you want. My thought is something like this. It was hard seeing the tree destroyed, yes, but that was the point. Golden Oak Library is part of a long lineage of iconic locations or vehicles that get destroyed as a way of showing that stuff just got real. Consider the destruction of the Enterprise in Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, or of Tony Stark's home in Iron Man 3. It was an appropriate thing for the story to do, and we weren't supposed to like it, though I reiterate, people overreacted. Now, however, we have to get used to the castle, and this actually is a theme that the show has not tackled before now: moving to a new home. Way back in Season 1, Twilight originally lived in Canterlot and believed that her stay in Ponyville would be a temporary one. Then, after only 2 days, she moves into the library and acts like she's always lived there, no adjustment period required. When you think about it, this is a topic that hardly any show ever tackles because it maintains a permanent location most of the time. Some shows occasionally devote episodes to someone moving, only to have them come right back at the end. Even MASH, a show set at a mobile Army surgical hospital, stayed rooted in one spot, occasionally threatening to move but never committing to it. Status quo, you know. It's a subject that ought to be discussed, especially for MLP's target audience. Now, moving to a new home is just a part of life. Maybe you're moving out of your parents' home for the first time, maybe you're going to a new job, maybe you're just going to college. Adjusting to a new home is something that everyone goes through, and for a child it can be very traumatic. But there's another element to this. Twilight lost her home to a disaster. It's completely destroyed, along with her possessions. This is significant. Think about how many people, how many children, lose their homes each year to disasters. Things like earthquakes, hurricanes, or fires. These people have lost everything, and they don't even have the option of demanding that a writer just undo it. Think about how hard it must be to adjust to a new place after something like that. Very few shows, to my knowledge, have done anything to address this issue, and if MLP is actually the first, it'll be a tough act to follow. First of all, the moment between Twilight and Spike at the library's ruins is pretty touching, really driving home the fact that the writers get how we feel, contrary to what the cynical among us might have said. More important is the message at the end. Home is not a physical place, but rather memories and experience, and just because you lost everything doesn't mean the world is ending. Granted, the way they present this is very literal, but it's still a good message, especially for the target audience of this show. Other thoughts. Bulk Biceps working at the spa was as unexpected as it was funny, topped only by the way he carried Spike. I liked how the song did nothing to hide the fact that the Remain 5's attempts at redecorating would go south quickly, thus leading to some fun character moments as they desperately tried to fix it for the rest of the episode. Seriously, the comedy in this episode was spot on. Especially for new writers, that's pretty impressive. Sleepy Twilight snuggling with pancakes is adorable, and I expect fan art. Also, just when I thought the creepiness of the premiere was done, we learn that Spike sleeps with a Rarity doll, and I expect fan art of that, though I also dread it. In the end, Castle Sweet Castle was another great episode, and I hope everyone can finally move on and stop with the freaking hashtag nonsense. I'm Snazzy Chapeau. See you next week.